The following program was provided by a valued member of our local community. Rogers TV is proud to support local producers and share local voices, ideas, and opinions. For more information, please visit our...
Welcome to the Dog Show with me, Claudia. I'm here with Maggie Burt from Tailspin Pet Works. Hey, Maggie.
How are you doing, Claudia?
Great. So today we're here with our 17-week-old black lab puppy, Maui, and I'm hoping you can help us teach Maui how to greet people nicely. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do when you're teaching a dog to greet people?
Well, mostly we want to put it on a cue. Okay. So that the dog can know when to approach and when not to approach. It'll take some time as a baby, of course. Okay. But what we want to do is get him to sit for you first. Okay. So we're going to have to call him over.
Maui, puppy, puppy. Puppy, puppy. Good. Do you sit?
Good.
Good job.
And then the cue you're going to use is go say hi. So honestly, you can use whatever you want. And then I'm going to talk to him. And as soon as he comes to me, I'm going to feed him with 4 on the floor.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Maui, go say hi. Maui, go say hi.
He's like, there's so many things on the grass. Hi, distraction. Hi, buddy.
So you're not giving him a chance to jump up on you.
Exactly. Management is 90% of it in the beginning. Hi, good boy. See? Whoop. And, hey, we'll take that choice. Good boy. Ready?
Great.
Good. That's very good. And so if he chooses to have 4 on the floor, whether that's a stand or a sit, he gets rewarded for that. Good job. Ready? And then I can touch him. Good. Good job. Very nice. Oh, that's not going to work.
That's exactly.
That's better. Now I'm going to wait a second because he jumped first. Jumping doesn't work. He's going to learn. Yes, good. And before he jumps again, yes.
So you don't get him learning to associate jump then sit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, they get what we call a behavior chain.
Yes, somebody called it back chaining. So they chain back to the first thing associated with the thing they were doing wrong.
Exactly.
Maui, don't eat things off the ground. What do you do for that?
He is a lab. Maui.
There we go. That's good.
Maui. Good. Oh, his teeth are sharp, guys.
Yeah, puppy teeth are very sharp. All
teeth are very sharp.
And we can practice that with meeting people in different situations, inside and outside.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Claudia's other dog, Goldie, come in, and we're going to show you a little what play looks like between an adult dog and a puppy. So it's going to be a little chaotic. Be prepared. As soon as she gets here, I'm going to drop the leash so that they don't get all tangled up in the leash, and then we'll do a little bit of narrative. All right, Claudia, let her loose. Come, Goldie. Goldie, Goldie. Good girl. Hello. Incoming. Each other anymore. Dogs never do what you expect them to do. There we go. You get her. You get her. So we're playing some keep away. Now the nice thing with labs is they tend to be pretty solidly tanked when they play. This way, guys. Submissive just a baby for a little bit of time, and so she gets very excited when she sees me. Hello, I know. Yes, exactly.
Meanwhile, Maui's just trying to steal the stick.
And Maui is being a typical puppy. We see this a lot in the older puppies, as opposed to 8-week-old puppies. But there's going to be some play, and maybe Goldie will say that's enough, but it's hard to say.
Maui has something to say. We're going to show you guys a little bit about how to introduce a puppy to a child. You see how Maggie interrupted Maui jumping up on me. So we have here a child whose name is Grace Ann, and Grace Ann is going to greet Maui. So Maggie, tell Grace what you'd like her to do.
Okay, Grace. What I would like you to do first is to talk to him, say hi.
Hi.
And see, he's more interested in your stick, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. You're going to reach towards him. Now, see, do you see the way his head moved away? Mm-hmm. That's because he didn't want that. So what we want to do is you're going to come beside him. Maui, I know, where'd the stick go? Come here. You're going to come beside him, and you're going to touch him here. Good. Or on his chest. Maui, up, up, up. Good. While I pet him. Good, or while I feed him. Ready? Good boy. Did you drop it? You did, didn't you?
Maggie, is it true that dogs actually don't like being touched on the head so much?
They don't, actually. They find it very disturbing, most dogs, to be reached for, because it's kind of rude, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it rude? Yeah. So generally, dogs have spatial considerations. Now, again, being a lab, his aren't very strong. I have a shepherd mix. Hers are very strong. She has ideas about how people should interact and how dogs should interact.
There you go.
So what we have to do is take the individual dog into account, but generally, children or strangers who reach for dogs are either going to get jumped on or they're going to get nipped at. Some dogs, if they're free, not on a leash, will move away. That's telling you that whatever you did, they didn't like it.
Good boy.
Good boy. And that's the safest way to do it, is either to let the dog approach the child versus the child approaching the dog, or to create interaction with food or speech, saying, hi, puppy, what's up, puppy?
Hi, puppy.
He's like, she has cookies, so therefore, labs, man. Right? Where's Grace Ann? Where is she?
You say hi?
Where is she?
Call him.
Hi, puppy.
He's over here?
Puppy.
Pat him on the back.
Good job.
And Maggie, what about introducing children when a child sees a strange dog that they don't know on the street? What do you recommend for that, where the child may want to approach the stranger dog?
Is an adult with the dog?
Let's assume an adult is with the dog.
Okay, so generally we would tell the child, you're supposed to ask first, and then the parent will usually say, yes, honey, ask the lady if they can pet the dog. That's only the first part of it. Most people know their dog well enough to know if they're going to jump on a child or whatever, so they might say no, and if they say no, you're supposed to go, okay, thank you, and that's enough, right? But if they say yes, it's okay, the next job is for everybody to ask the dog, does the dog feel like saying hi? Because if they don't, you're going to take that as a no. Consent is important for children. It's important for humans of all kinds. It's also important for dogs.
And how will we know if the dog wants to be petted or not?
Body language will tell you. They will either very softly and wiggly come up and say hi, or they will stand really still, turn their head away, or physically try to move away. All of those things are saying, no, I don't want you to touch me right now. So what we're really looking is, if the dog is going, hi, oh my God, hello, how are you? Then that's a yes. If they are doing mostly anything else, that's a no.
Okay.
That makes it clearer for kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't try to approach dogs that don't have a person with them.
Exactly. Exactly. And to be honest, I mean, most people, even children who have dogs at home, have not all been taught to be appropriate with dogs, because their dog will tolerate more things than a stranger dog will. Safety is always your first consideration, both for the dog and the child.
That's great, Maggie. That's so helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Today we're talking again with our friend Dr. Alan Poon from Mariposa Veterinary Hospital. Hi, Alan. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Claudia. How are you today?
Very well. So there were a
Good.
few things I wanted to talk about. The first one I wanted to talk about is parasites and other problems that dogs have, and what you test for, when you test for, and how you manage those things.
Absolutely, yeah. So the biggest concern that we have, especially close to home with sort of the Simcoe Muskoka area, is Lyme disease. That's carried by something called the black-legged tick, and it's unfortunately become endemic in our area now, where it sounds like if you are going out for a hike or even taking your dog out for a walk in your suburban neighborhood, you're bound to find a tick at some point, sort of hanging out on the grass or uh, even crawling on your dog's fur. So at this point, there's no place outside that's safe to go without meeting a parasite here or there.
Okay, and so what do you recommend that we do? How can we prevent our dogs from getting ticks?
Absolutely. So a lot of it is staying vigilant, making sure that before they come into the home, both yourself and your dog should be checked over for ticks. Ticks do like more hairless areas or areas that aren't as high motion so that they can grab on and start feeding. So you do want to make sure that you're checking your dog's ears, even inside their upper lips and into their gums, armpits in between toes, belly, anywhere that may be sort of a good place for a tick to attach onto. I tend to find that the little sort of sticky, roly contraptions do quite well with trying to stick things off. Sometimes these ticks are quite small in their uh, sort of uh, at that stage of development. So you may not be able to see them. They could be as small as a poppy seed. So I think a lot of it is trying to sort of prevent any kind of ticks from latching on. And then the other half is making sure that if they do latch on, they aren't able to spread Lyme disease if they are carrying it.
So is there anything that can be done by way of testing and preventative medication that you can give your dogs to prevent Lyme disease?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about Lyme disease prevention, there's different factors that can come into play to mitigate the risk at each level. So the first step is to do Lyme disease testing. We offer a test called an Acuplex, but it's also sometimes called a 4DX, depending on which company performs the test. And it tests for Lyme disease as well as heartworm, anaplasma, ehrlichias, and several other sort of tick-based diseases. There are monthly or every 3 monthly oral chews or drops that can be applied onto your pet to help with sort of killing the tick at that feeding stage or potentially even killing the ticks prior to feeding to prevent any kind of sort of Lyme disease parasite from getting into your pet. And then thirdly, that we do offer a Lyme vaccine as well, which actually destroys the Lyme disease that's stored inside the tick. So it doesn't necessarily sort of remove the tick from the area, but at least it removes the risk of Lyme from the tick and from the dog. So it's three different ways to help control and mitigate Lyme disease for your dog.
And you mentioned also heartworm, and that's another concern that we all have. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you do with heartworm prevention?
Absolutely. So thankfully, heartworm is not as big in Canada at the moment because we do unfortunately have such a harsh winter. Uh, Heartworm is passed on by mosquitoes that are feeding from an infected host to then take a blood meal from your pet, and then they transmit the heartworm through sort of their sort of feeding tube, essentially. So very common in the United States where it's warm year round and mosquitoes have an opportunity to breed and continue these cycles of heartworm sort of disease. But we do have a cold snap basically in our country between, let's say, November until March or so.
Or April. It's a
or
long
April.
snap. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
It depends on how lucky or unlucky we are, to be honest. And that normally kills off all the mosquitoes, and the cycle kind of starts again around June. So the heartworm season for us in Canada is between June and November. And there are sort of combination either topical preparations that can go onto the skin of your dog or monthly chewables, basically little flavored treats to give on a monthly basis. And it's usually again a combined parasite preventative to basically kill off any kind of heartworm or prevent it from happening.
And I gather sometimes you can get the heartworm and the Lyme prevention combined in one medication, so you don't have to give your dog multiple tablets.
That's correct, yes. It just makes things easy when there's a sort of an all-in-one sort of easy, chewable option for your dog.
And what about fleas? Are they a big problem, or is that sort of something we don't really worry about as much?
I mean, we always worry about fleas. Fleas can bring some pretty nasty diseases for dogs and cats as well, because they also take blood meals. It can cause things like anemia, which is sort of a blood loss situation. And obviously, it's very itchy. So we will have pets that end up having really bad rashes and hair loss because of fleas. I think a single flea can lay up to tens of thousands of eggs per blood meal. So it's something that you don't really want to think about too hard. And they do tend to survive in sort of warm, moist areas as well. So always a concern. They don't get as much sort of screen time as ticks do these days, but it's something. Thankfully, it's usually paired with a sort of a tick preventative as well. So your flea and tick prevention as a combined tool will help to eliminate that issue.
That's great. And also we should note that people can get Lyme disease as well from ticks. It's not just dogs. So that vigilance, if you're walking in a wooded area, I think like areas with dead leaves, damp areas outside, just to always check when you come in the house, whenever you're walking, even if it's not a wooded area, just at this time of year to start checking for ticks. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what should you do if you find a tick that's embedded in your dog, like that's actually feeding from the dog? Should they come to the vet to see you, or what do you suggest?
So it depends on how squeamish you are in terms of what you want to do. There are tools called tick removers that look like little prongs, and you kind of just slide it between your pet's skin and the tick's mouthpiece. Give it a quick twist and pull, and you should be able to remove the entire tick and mouthpiece of the tick at the same time. If that's going to be too much to handle, or there's multiple ticks and you just truly don't want to deal with it, absolutely give your vet clinic a call, and they will be able to take care of it for you.
Okay, and that's when that kind of vaccination medicine would be important if the tick's already been feeding. Is that right?
Absolutely. So that's another way to prevent. Essentially, the vaccine itself works inside the tick's mouthpiece, so it does eliminate the risk of Lyme being spread to your pet if that tick is positive.
Okay, well, that's all great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Poon. We appreciate it.
Of course, you're welcome.
I'm so excited because we're here in Orillia with Chief Superintendent Dana Early of the Ontario Provincial Police. She's the commander of the Field Support Bureau. and we're going to talk about the OPP's Canine Unit. Hi, Chief Superintendent. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for being here.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you about the OPP Canine Unit.
Yes.
When we think of police dogs, we think of the dogs running after the bad guy or the
Right.
man in the suit. Tell me all about what the OPP's Canine Unit's abilities are.
Great. Well, again, thank you for being here. We have a vast history with our canine program. In fact, we're celebrating 60 years this year.
Wow.
So we've had a canine program with the OPP since 1965. We started with 3 dogs, and now we've expanded this program, and it is one of the most relied upon programs within our organization. We now have 45 dogs across the province
Oh
and
my gosh.
33 handlers.
That's incredible.
Yes, and we do a range of different calls. In fact, last year alone, we did a little over 3,100 calls for service.
That's
just our
amazing.
canine program. So our canine program is involved in search and rescues, evidence detection, criminal apprehension. So there's a vast number of things that the canine program's involved in.
What about scent detection? Is
Yes,
that something you do?
absolutely. Yeah. So we have dogs that are specifically trained for scent detection, whether it be explosives, human remains, evidence, so firearms, drugs. Yes, so evidence detection for sure.
How long does it take to train a dog to be a police dog?
Yeah, great question. Our general service dog program is what we start with. So every dog goes through it, every handler goes through it. It is 18 weeks long.
Okay.
So then once you complete that, we actually bring then the handlers and the dogs back to specialize in different things like your evidence search. So then we bring them back for drug search, or explosives searches. So those courses in itself can be anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks in addition to the 18.
And do the dogs stay here at the kennels? How does that work?
Yeah, another great question. The dogs stay with their handlers, so
Amazing.
they are at their handlers' homes. So we as an organization make sure that the handler has everything that the dog needs at their home. So we set them up with kennels, with dog houses, we look after their food, and any vet needs that they might need.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of working with the dogs, how long does a dog work in its service life?
Yeah, well, it really depends on the dog and it depends on the handler. So a lot of the times if the dog is healthy, we will let it work as long as it can. But when it does retire, it's usually due to injury or we've noticed a difference in regards to its work capabilities. So we allow it to retire, and of course we ask the handler if he or she would let the dog or would like the dog to retire with them, and most of the time when a dog retires, it retires with the handler. So
Oh,
it stays
that's
with the
wonderful.
handler.
That's terrific.
Yes.
And in terms of the handlers, they're all police officers?
Yes, yes. So our handlers, we look at any police officer with at least 3 years experience. So a lot of our handlers come right from the front line. So they've spent 3 to 5 years on the front line. They may have been involved in different teams and have different experiences, but then they put their interest in for the canine program. So they go through a week of what we call a week of assessment, and we really try to introduce the different tasks involved in being a canine handler to see if they're okay with it. If they're successful there, then there's an interview process, and then they go on to the 18-week course that I mentioned.
And then do they stay in the program for their career, or is it a rotation like other things in the OPP where they're there for a number of years?
They could stay in that in the canine program for their whole career if that's what
Wow.
they'd like. Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
And what sort of events and activities do you do in the community with the dogs and handlers?
We try to say yes to all of them, but please keep in mind we get asked for a lot. But we do school visits. We are quite active in our family day here at headquarters. So we're constantly doing demonstrations to show the community exactly what the program brings to public safety.
That's great.
Yeah.
And in terms of the kennels here, what sort of things might we see today?
So we're going to show you a demonstration of different things that the dogs are capable of. So one of the building in behind us is one of the facilities where we train in. So we will set up a demo to show kind of their tracking capabilities.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I try to do tracking with my dogs,
Okay.
but usually they're looking for food.
Yeah, our dogs are looking for something different. So, but
All right,
yes,
all
yeah.
right.
So that's what we do.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed meeting you and talking to you today.
You too, and thank you so much for your interest in our organization and our canine program.
It's wonderful. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
we've heard a lot about these great OPP police dogs. Let's see one in action. This is Maynard. He's a Belgian Malinois. They're very suited to work and used by police services and the military all over the world because they're very smart, very trainable, and very, very tough. So we're going to see Maynard do two different types of searches. One is an interior search in a room in a building, and he's going to look for explosives. The second search is going to be an exterior search where he's going to look for drugs hidden in a vehicle. These dogs start out by being trained on the different scents. Then they're trained finding them in very simple places where they can see them inside a box perhaps. And then they build the ability gradually to be able to find them in more and more difficult, hard to find places. And that's what the real work for these dogs is. You'll notice that a lot of us at home train our dogs and reward them with food. Service dogs for police work are not rewarded with food. You'll see that Maynard is shown and allowed to play with a toy on a string and tug, and that tugging is his reinforcement along with the verbal praise from his handler and a lot of patting. And that is how these dogs are rewarded for finding the thing they're looking for. So let's take a look.
Okay, Main's gonna go look for some explosives. Sit. Yes, find it. So he's just searching all these boxes with his nose. When he finds the imprinted odor, he will give me that final behavior. Break. Attaboy, Mainers. Had a good fella. Had a good boy. Attaboy, Los. Find it. Break. Yeah. Good for you, little fella. Good for you, little fella. Yeah. Good for you, little fella. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Give me that. Give me that. Yeah. Good for you. Find it. Break. Boy, Budge. Good for you, little fella. Here. Give me that. You just give me that. You just give me that. Yeah. Yeah. Los. Break. Yeah, good boy. Good. Attaboy, Mainers. Boxes over his nose. When he finds the imprinted odor, he will have final behavior. Break. Attaboy, Mainers. Had a good fella. Had a good boy. Attaboy, close. Find it. Good for you, little fella. Good for you, little fella. Good for you, little fella.